Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're diving deep into a fascinating document titled Unveiling the Most Bizarre Alien Races.
And it's not just a list, it's a ranking system. They've organized these potential alien races by their believability.
A believability ranking, huh? That's a new one. So, where do they even begin with something like that?
Well, they kick things off with what they call the C tier, the highly plausible. And of course, no surprises here. It's our old pals, the Greys, Nordics, and reptilians.
Classics. You gotta admit, though, it's kind of interesting, right? Like, why are these particular aliens so popular?
Right. It really makes you think about what resonates with us. Take the Greys, for instance, those big black eyes. Maybe it speaks to something deeper, you know?
Well, imagine a planet with very little light orbiting a dim red dwarf star. Those eyes could be perfectly adapted, kind of like deep-sea creatures here on Earth.
Oh, like those anglerfish with those crazy huge eyes. I see what you mean.
Exactly. And the Nordics, they're often described as, perfect looking. Maybe that taps into our desire for a kind, even godlike presence in the universe.
Yeah, kind of like a reflection of our best selves, but like way more advanced.
Right. And then you've got the reptilians, usually depicted as cold and manipulative, often hiding in plain sight.
Okay, now those are just creepy.
But maybe they reflect our fears about being controlled by forces we don't understand.
You know, it's funny how these aliens, the Greys and Nordics, they're like two sides of the same coin. Our fear of the unknown and our hope for something greater all projected onto space.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what I find fascinating is how this document goes beyond those familiar faces. Things get a lot stranger as we move into the B tier.
Stranger than lizard people running the world. Okay, you've got to tell me more. What could be weirder than that?
Well, let's just say the B tier introduces the possibility of highly evolved insects.
Insectoids, seriously, like giant cockroaches from space. That's straight out of a horror movie.
I know, right? But think about it. Insects are incredibly successful here on Earth. They've been around for millions of years, adapted to practically every environment.
Well, yeah, I mean, cockroaches will probably outlive us all. But intelligent insects, that's kind of hard to imagine.
Yeah, but even on Earth, we keep finding new layers to insect intelligence. And colonies, for example. Research suggests they might act as one big decentralized organism.
Like the whole colony is intelligent.
Potentially, yeah. A hive mind, working together to solve problems. Imagine that on a planetary scale.
Okay, that's both amazing and terrifying at the same time.
Yeah.
Though I have to admit, the idea of like a planet run by super intelligent accountant ants is kind of funny.
Right. It really opens up the possibilities. And believe it or not, we're just scratching the surface of the B tier.
Wait, there's more. Besides giant bugs, what else is lurking in this category?
Well, we've also got these call whites. They're described as being similar to grays, but taller, more elegant, and supposedly with really advanced technology.
Tall whites. I think I've heard of them. Aren't they like working with the government or something?
Yeah, that's one theory you see floating around. Lots of conspiracies about them having secret underground bases, making deals with world leaders and all that.
Real X-Files stuff. So are they considered as plausible as, say, the Greys or these insectoids, based on this document?
That's where it gets a bit tricky. See, they're also in the B tier.
Okay.
But the document makes a distinction. While insect intelligence could be possible, different evolutionary path and all, the tall whites are more often mixed up with conspiracy stuff, not as much scientific basis.
So more speculation than anything concrete.
Exactly. And speaking of speculation, we've got another group in this tier, the Arcturians. They're often depicted as these super advanced beings from, Arcturus, here to help humanity reach a higher level of consciousness.
Right, right. More on the spiritual side of things. It seems like this B tier is where the line between like science fiction and, I don't know, maybe a bit of fantasy gets kind of blurry.
It's an interesting blend, that's for sure. The document acknowledges this too, suggesting that while these ideas are fun to think about, they lack the scientific backing of something like, say, the Greys or the insectoids, which we talked about before.
So the line between what if and what is starts to get a little fuzzy in this tier, but if the B tier is already blowing my mind, what's waiting for us in the A tier? What kind of crazy stuff are we about to uncover?
Get ready for things to get a little more unsettling. The A tier is where we get into the realm of hybrids beings with both human and alien DNA and, believe it or not, mantids.
Wait, hold on. Hybrids? Okay, I can kind of wrap my head around that. I mean, we're messing with genes here on Earth, so I guess it's not totally impossible. But mantids, like praying mantises from space, now that's just scary.
It's a wild thought for sure. But remember, we're exploring all the possibilities here. Just because intelligence evolved a certain way on Earth doesn't mean it happened the same way everywhere else, right?
So you're saying there could be these giant, brainy, praying mantises out there, maybe having like cosmic tea and discussing philosophy.
Well, maybe not tea, but you've got a point. The document suggests that maybe, just maybe, the mantids, even though they look like insects to us, evolved a totally different kind of intelligence.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more about these maybe not so scary, potentially deep-thinking space mantises.
It is mostly speculation at this point, but some describe the mantids as empathetic, even telepathic. Like they can sense emotions, energy fields, stuff we can't even perceive.
So instead of being cold and calculating like the grays or a hive mind like those insectoids, the mantids are like masters of empathy and cosmic understanding.
See? Fascinating contrast. And it really highlights what this whole document is about. The universe is a vast and mysterious place. Life out there, if it exists, could be beyond anything we can imagine.
That's both exciting and a little terrifying to think about. But before we spiral into an existential crisis, you also mentioned hybrids. What's the document's take on those?
It taps into a primal fear, right? This idea of our own creations surpassing us. Imagine an alien species so advanced they can manipulate DNA, even mix it with our own. It's the stuff of sci-fi nightmares.
Definitely has that invasion of the body snatchers vibe. And the unsettling part is it's not completely impossible. Who knows what's possible with genetic engineering in the future?
Exactly. And that's what I love about this document. It takes these wild, out-there concepts and forces us to confront them, to think about not just the what, but the what if.
It's definitely broadened my definition of weird and wonderful when it comes to the universe.
Yeah.
But something tells me we've only scratched the surface. What awaits us as we ascend to the S tier and beyond? S tier and beyond, huh? You're really going to make me work for this, aren't you?
Let's just say this is where we leave plausible in the dust, even for this document. We're going full-on mind-bending now.
All right, lay it on me. What could be stranger than giant empathetic mantises and human-alien hybrids?
Picture this. Beings that exist outside our universe. Not just on another planet, but in the space between universes.
Okay, now that's just messing with my brain. What would an encounter with something like that even look like?
That's the thing about interdimensional beings, right? They'd be playing by completely different rules. Might not even experience time or space the way we do.
So less like little green men, more like, I don't know, sentient black holes.
It's a weird comparison, but you're getting the idea. These are concepts that really push the limits of what we consider possible.
My head's spinning. But that's what makes this so fun, right? Exploring the totally unknown. What else is in this S tier of strangeness?
But we're not done yet. What about time-traveling humans?
Time travelers. You're saying some UFOs could be our future descendants coming back for a visit.
Exactly. Maybe instead of worrying about alien invasions, we should be looking over our shoulders for our great-great-great-grandkids.
No, that's a thought, like the ultimate what if about where humanity ends up. Does this document say what these time-traveling tourists might be doing?
Not really. It gets even more vague here. Maybe they're just observing, studying their past. Or who knows, maybe they're trying to change things, prevent some future disaster.
Heavy stuff. Like, if you could change the past, would you? And what would the consequences be?
That's a question people have been debating forever. The point is, this document throws it all in there, time travelers right alongside interdimensional beings. Really makes you think bigger.
It certainly does. Though, I gotta admit, part of me kind of misses the giant mantises now. They seem almost normal compared to this. What other cosmic curveballs are we dealing with?
Hold on to your hats, because this is where it gets really out there.
Yeah.
We're talking beings of pure energy, things that exist only in dreams, even entities so different, we might not recognize them as life forms at all.
Stuff that breaks our definition of life as we know it. I think we've officially reached peak weirdness. It's almost too much to process.
And that's kind of the point, isn't it? The universe is so much bigger, stranger, more wonderful than we can wrap our heads around.
So, after going down this rabbit hole of alien possibilities, what have we learned? Should I be watching for interdimensional beings on my morning commute?
Not necessarily. But I think this document reminds us that the universe is full of surprises. It's a call to stay curious, keep asking questions, and never assume we've seen it all.
Well said. Maybe the biggest takeaway from all these crazy ideas is just a renewed sense of wonder about the universe.
Absolutely. Who knows? Maybe by opening ourselves up to the impossible, we might actually stumble upon something truly amazing.
On that note, we wrap up our deep dive into the world of bizarre alien encounters. If you're feeling brave, listener, go check out this document. But be warned, it's a wild ride, and it might just leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about the cosmos. Until next time, keep looking up.